Horror movies and punk music, a couple of my favourite things, but do they mix well here? Good evening and welcome to Midnight Movie Club, and another review coming out of Monsterfest 2018. Tonight I am reviewing The Ranger. The Ranger was directed by Jennifer Wexler and stars Chloe Levine, Jeremy S. Holm and Larry Fessenden. We follow Chelsea, who is a rather reserved punk rocker, and her more out there band of punk friends. They are forced to go into hiding after the cops raid a drug-fueled gig that they are attending. Chelsea and her band of misfits retreat to her late uncle's cabin in the woods, looking to wait it out until the heat is off of them. During their time in exile, they are looking to come up with a band name, drink, do drugs and deface the wilderness. But they soon encounter a park ranger who has perverse plans for anyone loitering and making a mess of his national park. When it came down to the characters in The Ranger, even though the cast was game and you could see that they were up for it, most of the characters were very one-dimensional. Instead of having any personalities at all, they just all boasted the no fucks given attitude to both the wilderness and their so-called friends around them. So when the killing begins, you are more than happy to see most of them dispatched in creative ways. In saying this though, the acting was pretty solid for the most part, and you could feel the passion the cast had for the genre. For me, Chelsea and the Ranger were the only redeeming characters, and thank God that they were. I really did enjoy the dynamic between them, and Chloe Levine really got to show off her acting chops, especially in the final act. The Ranger, played by Jeremy S. Holm, was hilarious in the way he would preach park laws and legislation to these punks before picking them off one by one. I wasn't quite sure if I was to love him, hate him, or be terrified by him. He was sending out pretty mixed signals, but I did end up enjoying Holm's performance as the psychotic park ranger. He did have me laughing aloud in some scenes, even if I couldn't quite read all the mixed tones. I think if he was to not talk as much and stay calm and collected behind his aviators, it would have made him evoke more terror within me, but I think the intention behind his character was to be a campy, deranged killer. The Ranger is full of bright pinks, blues and greens, which made for some really cool imagery in certain shots when our characters were under the influence of a drug called Echo. It made for some awesome neon punk visuals that really helped convey the disorientation and blissfulness of the world to our characters while experiencing this drug. The lighting also helped drench the movie with neon. Anytime we were in a building and out of the woods, every scene had a hot pink in it, and if it wasn't for the lighting, it was Chelsea's hair. Even the blood in places looked a little more pink than red. I'm not sure if this was a stylistic choice or it's just what they had to work with, but it worked for me. And in talking about blood, we are treated to some great practical effects, which I was thrilled to see. As the Ranger begins to pick off each kid one by one in brutal ways, we get a load of lovely gore and a nice amount of blood that will keep goreheads satisfied. The film also provides an awesome punk rock soundtrack. Even though what is on screen doesn't entirely have the same energy and explosiveness as the soundtrack, it does do a good job of trying to keep up. Wexler's cinematography at times is great for a first-time director. The camera work was rather compelling. I felt like the film really was made with great enthusiasm and love for the punk horror genre. They definitely placed having a good time and creating a great 70s homage over polish. It is very hard to take the film seriously, so it is awesome that the Ranger never asks you to, which allows you to just go along for the ride and enjoy the show. The film's themes are all about breaking free, doing what you want and having control over your own decisions, which fits great with the punk aesthetic. Along with this, Chelsea searches for identity, which is why she has probably found one with these punks. It's true to its core and it is what it is and not what others want it to be, just like Chelsea. Even though The Ranger has quite a few problems, it didn't take away from my enjoyment. This is a fun, low-budget, indie punk horror made with a lot of love and respect for the genre. It is a straight-up enjoyable throwback with a soundtrack to match, and with it sitting at a 77-minute runtime, it isn't too much of an investment of your time. Even though the narrative and the dialogue are weak, The Ranger provides an over-the-top style of horror I think fans will appreciate. So with all this said, I'm going to give The Ranger a 2.5 out of 5 rating. I really do reckon it is worth a watch if you ever get the chance to see it, especially if you're into gore and horror and punk music. It's the one for you. So let me know in the comments below your thoughts on The Ranger if you have seen it, and if not, are you keen to check this one out? If you enjoyed this video, would you kindly leave it a like, and if you want more content from myself, then subscribe to join the club. Thank you for watching, and good night.